Hello everybody, it's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX, and it's Saturday, it's 12:40. It's going to be a quick week in the life of, because I'm getting ready to go to the rugby, watch Saints beat the Tigers. I thought I'd do it before in case they don't beat the Tigers, because it'd be a bit of a disappointing, grim week in the life of. At the moment we're all happy. And we obviously had Monday off, bank holiday, because of the Queen's funeral, which, believe it or not, I've watched in full pretty much. Yeah, one of them occasions. What do you say? Bless her. But started off, I'd got a job booked in already for the Tuesday morning, picking up at 7 o'clock. And it was to take a laptop and a monitor. I did the job a couple of weeks ago, same thing from solicitors, going down to Fareham. It's called Whiteley, but it's a district of Fareham in Southampton. And so I started at 6:30, picked the laptop up about 10 to 7, and then off we went. By the way, I'm in the spare room. I'm in the grandkids' room when they stay, so just a bit quieter. And I did get a job pretty much instantly, actually, from Southampton to Redditch. And that was taking two big boxes, which no problem, and got good money on that as well. Got good money going down as well. Money seems to be picking up, pence per mile at the moment. Um, got to Redditch. Redditch is south of Birmingham, and I thought, just need a job home really. I've done my money for the day. I've done my target for the day with them two jobs, and was looking for some at home or some anywhere really. I'm prepared to tramp, and a job popped up from Birmingham to Staverton. Now, Staverton is just outside Daventry, and it was to the hotel event. They got an event on there, and what I did, I picked up from the NEC, and it was an events company, and I took some equipment, microphones and stuff like that, to Staverton, and that was a fairly good paid job as well. And also, Staverton Daventry is 20 miles from home, which was a good thing because we had the two grandchildren stay over Tuesday, and Julie took them to work, my wife, on the Wednesday, and they're 6 and 5, and they run riot. How else? Within 10 minutes of them being here, the toys are out, everything's out. It just looks like a bomb's at it, and we love them to bits, but one night is enough. They just, yeah, you don't do nothing else when you got them with you. But anyway, I did get a job. Actually, while they were here, I was looking at the feed half the time, and I picked a small job up for Wednesday, and it was from Daventry to Hinckley. Hinckley's a really good area. So Tuesday, I did 346 miles Tuesday, and it was no worries. I'll do the figures at the end. Wednesday, I said I did Daventry to Hinckley. Didn't have to start early. I hadn't got to pick up until 8:45. But Daventry's it's a funny place to get to from where I live. You have to go up the motorway up two junctions, 15 to 16. Get off at 16, and it can be a bit, especially in rush hour. Anyway, problem, and it was a pallet. It was a small pallet. It was that small. It was that light. It was a standard size pallet. It was that light that two of us picked it up and put it in the van instead of getting the forklift out, because it only weighed about 70 kilos. So I put it in the back of the van, took it to Hinckley, dropped in Hinckley, and picked a job up pretty much instantly. I was going to stay local, going to bounce around locally. This was the plan. But I picked a job at Coventry to Hemel Hempstead. Good money again, really good money. And it was a flat sign it was in a cardboard, but it was a flat. It was no 5 foot by 3 foot, but it was about that thick. And it was a sign. It was a demonstration, the demo sign, a freebie for them to see if they wanted any more. It weighed about 6 ounces, something like that. I mean ounces. I can't know grams. And I picked that up and dropped that off in Hemel Hempstead. Again, easy drop. Asda was just up the road. Pulled into Asda, Sainsbury's. Parked in Sainsbury's, and I thought, if I get a job back up north now, sorted. That didn't materialise because there was a job on there, and there weren't nothing out of Hemel, and it was lunchtime, and a job popped up. Aylesbury to London NW10. NW10 it's not Park Road, it's a bit further in, Kensal Green, around that area of London. And I thought it had been on there a while and it had been rebooted. I thought, you know what? I was 20 miles from it and it was 40 miles on top of that. I was 18 miles, so it's 58 miles all in. So I quoted more than £1 a mile, over £1 a mile, because I go northwest London. And I got a phone call from a shipper saying, I've got this job for you, but can you do it cheaper? I said, no. And the reason, I give him the reason. I said, if I was in Aylesbury, where you are, I would do it cheaper. But I've got 20 miles to travel to you. That's time and distance and fuel. So that's the price. So he said, well, no worries, I'll have to see. So that ended that. I quoted on a couple of more jobs, and the phone went. And I thought it was a quote for one or two jobs. And it wasn't. It was the original one. Phoning, saying, okay, he says, I haven't got anything, no one doing it. There was no one in Aylesbury, by the way. There wasn't a driver because I checked on my feed. Not small van driver, there was big vans. And so I said, yeah, and it's still the same price. I can't drop it, mate. I said, I'm also waiting on two quotes. So, and I wasn't lying. And he went, okay, I'll send it over. And so I went and done it. And I went and picked them up. It was a bunch of keys. Someone had forgot keys. So they became expensive keys, really. I took them into northwest London. While I was doing that, there was a job on there that had been on there all day. And it's Ivor to Norwich. It's the COVIDs from Pinewood Studios. And I thought, do you know what? I can make this a real long day. And if I got that, and I know the price of that is pretty good, I thought I'll just stay in Norwich tonight. And it was pick up at 4:15. And I knew I'd get this job into London. And I was only 7 miles from the Pinewood Studios. So I thought, you know what? I'll quote on that. So I picked the other one up, knew what time I'd be in London, 2:30, and at 2:45, and that gave me time to get across to Ivor for 4:15, even earlier. And I quoted again really high because I knew that'd be a job that's hard to struggle. And I quoted what I thought was a fair price. It was a good price for me. And to be fair, they phoned me up. And it's 3 pickups in Pinewood Studio. If you've never done it and you subscribe to my channel and you want some advice about how to do it quicker, give me a call because you've got a lot of rigmarole to go through to pick these stuff up. There's 2 sides of the road the Pinewood Studios is. It's a massive map. But once you've done it a couple of times, it's really easy. It looks harder on paper than what it is. It frightens people, I think. But you have to get a photo ID at reception. Once you've got that once, you go, you tell them who you are. You don't tell them your own company. You tell them the company you work for, but you tell them who you are, your name. They should have it on there from before, and it reprints. But it is not as hard as it seems. But anyway, so I've done this keys, dropped them off to a little factory, easy peasy, and I'd got the job as well, Ivor. And I drove out to Ivor, another good spot. As you go out to Ivor, to Pinewood, there's an Esso garage, which is UK Fuels, but also there's a really good snack bar out on a pub car park. It's all to do with the craze and gangsters. Does a mega burger, and yeah, I had to stop there, and I got sort of an hour to kill really, so a little stroll around, and then I picked up at Ivor, did the 3 pickups, 3 boxes. I'd already set my bed up because I knew I wouldn't get out of Norwich. It's going to be 9 o'clock at night, so I'd already set the bed up in the back because I knew I was only picking COVIDs up, and I just in they go. So I set everything up for tramping, and yeah, picked the ones in Ivor up. And you've got to get to Norwich ASAP, but it's pretty flexible on time, as long as you get there. So I just took my time, 60-mile-an-hour motorway up the A1, and yeah, up the A1, at the M11, across the A15, and I got to Norwich at 8:40 at night. So it was a long day. It was about a 12-hour day, but it was really good money. And I tramped at Norwich. There was nothing out of Norwich. I mean, that's it for the day. But I tramped actually where the COVID test centre is. You go through barriers in Norwich. It's not in Norwich, it's north. and I tramped in there. I didn't come out. I thought, do you know what? It's really quiet. I had a shower at the services on the way up, and I thought, I've had my food, I've got a drink, I'll tramp here. Thought if they kick me out because it's a secure unit, if they knock on the window, I'll drive out. If they don't, I'll sleep here. And they didn't. And the testers, it was in their car park. There was only me and another van. There was no one in that van. That was parked up for the night. And there was two cars from the testers, and they disappeared about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I slept like a baby right through, no messing. And that was that day done. So I did 381 miles. I drove for about 10 and a half hours in total, and I did a 13-hour shift. It's a long day, but it's good money. Thursday, you got the issue now of getting out of Norwich. You've got to try and get out of Norwich. It is not the best place to get out of. There is work. There's a couple of samples that go to Northampton, where I live. It's not a great payer, but in fact it's rubbish payer. But there's drivers there. That's the trouble. There was a job popped up Norwich to Aberdeen. If that had been on a Monday or a Tuesday, I'd have put a price in. But on a Thursday, I'm not travelling to Aberdeen to deliver it ASAP. It was nearly a 10-hour journey, and I've got to get home Friday. I had to be home Friday afternoon. If it had been a Tuesday, I'd have took it and somehow tried to get back. But that wasn't going to work. There was a couple of localish ones that was Deptford to somewhere, but that was too far away. And then a job popped up. It was a long while. I waited a long while. In fact, it was about 11:15 when I got a job. I started looking about 8:30, and there was nothing really. Nothing. That's what happens. And then a job did pop up. Great Yarmouth to Blackpool, which is a good distance. It was a phone. You couldn't email quote. You had to phone, which I don't mind. It suits me because you can put across a case then of there's my CX number. If you look at it, I've got really good feedback, but this is the price I charge. And he was another really great bloke. His name's Mark, and he was a really top shipper. He's a driver as well. I think he does a bit like James at Freddie Fletcher. He drives and he subs jobs out, and he was subbing this one out, and we agreed a price. Really good price for me. He was happy with the price. I picked it up from him. He got it in his van. I picked it up from the Asda superstore in Norwich, and he met me there. He was there. It was one small box to go to Blackpool Airport for a helicopter company, and it was a part for a helicopter that needed to be there by 7 o'clock at night, which is doable. It was not cutting it really fine. I'd got like an hour and a half sort of to kill with traffic and having a shower and all that. So we started at 11. We met him. I was on the road and on my way to Blackpool, and weather was great. It's a pain at A47 and A15 across to Sleaford to pick the A1 up. It's painful. That Kings Lynn Road is painful because you can't get by traffic. Traffic's heavy. It's tractors, bloody. But take your time. And then I got to Leeds, and the traffic was really heavy across the 62, peeing down the rain. Had a shower at the services on the 62, Birch Barn, is it? I can't remember what it is. Sort of like between Leeds and Manchester. Had a shower, spruced myself up, and I got my bed ready already in the back of the van because I only got one small parcel to deliver to the helicopter company. Stayed in Blackpool. On the way to Blackpool, getting closer to Blackpool, and a job popped up, and it was Friday morning, Blackpool to Leicester. Couldn't believe it. Thought, man, that's great. I quoted on it, good money, not top money, but it wasn't going home money. It was good money, and got it. One pallet. So I'm over the moon. I've got a job for the next morning already, which out of Blackpool was quite good. Well, then I got closer to Blackpool. I virtually got to Blackpool, and the phone went again, and the job didn't get cancelled. They hadn't got nothing. It was 250 kilo pallet. It needed a Luton with a tower lift and pallet truck because there's no forklift. How can you load a pallet with 250 kilos and not have a forklift? And I just said, yeah, I can't. The shipper was really apologetic. He said, I'm really sorry, mate. He says, they've just informed me they haven't got a forklift. They haven't got nothing. He says it's got to go on a Luton now. He says with a tail lift. He says they're paying a fortune more than what they would have paid you. He said, and he apologised, and he rebooted it back on the system, putting Luton with a tail lift. So it's honest mistake, but it cost the company another 300 or 400 quid more than what it would have paying me. So I'm like going to be stuck in Blackpool. I got to Blackpool, delivered. Wasn't too bad. I got there at 6, no, quarter to 6. Quarter to 6, yeah, quarter to 6. So I did all right. It was a good run actually. I stopped for a shower and a coffee. I thought I'd just keep going. And I thought, well, I can have a look around Blackpool Lights, park the van up, have a look. But it bucketed of rain, absolutely threw it down. And I was in Morrison's, right near the airport. There's a Morrison's just down the road. I went in there, only got some food for the morning. And I thought I'll get a bag of chips, fish and chips or something, and see what we're going to do. Looked at the feed, and there was a job for the next morning, Blackburn to Tipton, near Dudley, West Midlands. I quoted on it, good money, because I was 20 miles away. And I got a phone call, and it was a 6 o'clock in the morning pickup. And I got it. And he says, you need to meet a driver at this company, and you're going to take a box off him, and it's got to be in Tipton by 9:15. So I thought, brilliant. So I got a job. So what I decided to do, I thought I'm going to drive to Blackburn, and I'll count the mileage within this job because I've got really good money going to Blackpool, and I'll count that mileage in this job. It'll make the pence per mile less, but then I'll start the Blackburn job, nearby. I did. I drove to Blackburn. I got some chips on the way. I had chips. I hadn't got a rush. I had a little look around in them St Anne's actually, in the van because it was chucking it down the road. God, big houses there on the front by the dunes. And if it hadn't been raining, I would have stayed in Blackpool till really late and then drove to Blackburn. But as it was, I weren't going to be walking anywhere in that. It was pedaling down. So we drove to Blackburn, had my chips, got to Blackburn about 9ish, something like that. And parked up on a little industrial road, right in the centre of Blackburn, just round the corner was this place. I'd already seen where I was going to go. Couldn't stay there, so I parked 400 yards away, round the corner. Really nicely, there's kids with fireworks. Massive fireworks going off. And the old bill arrived, was going on till about 11:30. And eventually it stopped. And nowhere near me, they're in the same area, but pain in the arse. But apart from that, slept great, tramped again. And I picked up, so that was Thursday, 340 miles I've done Thursday, all in. That includes getting to Blackburn. So it wasn't too shabby. Friday, I was on good money then. I'd done 3 days, good money. Over target, well over target one day. And then I picked up, sure enough, I set my alarm, 5:40, out the bed, quick swill, clean teeth, shave, electric shave, packed my sleeping bags away, and I was outside the gate, 6:10, and it was between 6 and 6:30, and the old boy just got there, one box, and easy. Put it in the back. On we go, down the motorway, heading home. Every day, every mile Friday was a mile nearer home, mate. I decided, because I've been out 2 nights. So I got to Tipton, no problem. Traffic was a bit heavy around Birmingham, top end of Birmingham, but delivered it. Should have been there before 9:15, got it there at 8:15 and delivered. And there was a job on there. I was looking for a job home now. I've been selective. It was pinging Friday morning, Birmingham. It was like bloody. It just ping, 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 ping all the time. There was jobs everywhere, but they weren't going or weren't close enough. A job that took my fancy. There was one there from Birmingham to Woodford House, and it was round by the Fort Dunlop place, somewhere around there. I weren't too far away, and it's from Woodford House. I quoted quite large on it. I thought, you know what, they're going to struggle to get rid of that because Woodford House is near Daventry, and I thought they might struggle to get rid of that. I thought if I quote good high money, it'll cover my money getting there, the dead miles. And it did. And they went for it. It was a 10 o'clock pickup, and I was quite happy with that. Means I could just trundle around. I went to Fort Dunlop, McDonald's, got a large coffee, 129. Best thing about McDonald's, the food's shite, but the coffee, 129 for a large coffee. Yeah, you won't beat that. Uh, and sure enough, I trundled there and I got there about 9:30, 20 to 10, and backed up. And it was a small pallet, again, a light pallet, only weighed 25 kilos. Two of us picked it up, put it in the back of the van. It was all done, ready, quarter to 10, before quarter to 10, actually. I says, is that everything? You okay? Because it weren't meant to pick it up at 10. Yeah, it's ready, mate. Go. Off I went. And I thought, that's it. I'm done. That's me done. I missed all the traffic. There's a big crash at Warwick. I missed that. I come down the 425, down the 45 to Coventry and cut across. And Woodford House, I've been to this place about 4 times, I have. And yep, dropped it off there. And I thought, that's it. I was 20 miles from home. I thought, that's my week done. Superb. Got the good money. Almost hit 1,000 in 3.5 days. I was only, I was about, I don't know, what was I short? I was 50 quid short. So, 46 quid short. No, 50 quid short. So I thought, that's all right, I can live with that. And I'm going home. I thought I'll be home. And I thought I'd see my auntie on the way home. Because she, between my house and where I dropped in Woodford House is her house. I thought I'll call her and have a cup of coffee with her. And as I was driving, I got 2, 3 miles from Northampton. The job popped up, Northampton to Northampton. And it's a company that I do a fair bit of work for, and in Northampton. And I thought, do I really want to do another job? I thought, I'll tell you what I'll do. It was 3 miles, this job. I was 4.5, 5 miles from it. I quoted 30 quid. 35 is normally my lowest, but I thought, for 30 quid, if he gives me that, I'll do it for 30 quid. And they did give me it. It gave me it within seconds. Obviously, there weren't, I didn't check no drivers. I think I could have got more, but 30 quid for, it was 8 miles in total. Awesome. So I went and done it. And I literally picked it. I knew where I was picking up from. I knew the company. And I've been there 3 or 4 times. Really nice. Always ready. And it was 3 small boxes. 2 small boxes, one large one. And it was going to Cosworth in Northampton, which is, and it got 3.3 1/4 miles to the job. And I did it even less than that because I went direct through the town. And it was about 2.25 miles. And I did it. It took me about, the whole lot took me half an hour from doing the paperwork, doing the job, and doing the paperwork through the CX, done. And I still went to my auntie's. So I got another 30 quid. So Friday was a cracker, really, because it got me right home, done. Superb. And that was our week. I went to see my auntie, and I'm still home at 1:30. So I had a nice early finish Friday, 3.5 day week. My total for the week, my total was, mileage was 1,268. And I did 37 hours driving. So quite a bit of driving for 4 days. The biggest amount of driving was definitely Wednesday when I went to Hinckley, from Hinckley to Coventry to Hemel to Aylesbury to North London, then picked up at Pinewood to Norwich. That was my 10.5 hour drive that day. And that was my biggest duty time, as in amount of times. 38 hours worked, sorry. Driving was 30 hours driving. And 10 hours was one day. The rest was 7, 6 and 5. So, yeah. So 10.5, 7.5, 6.5, 5.5. So, yeah. It was a steady week. My total money was £984. And that was for 1,268 miles. My average pence per mile was 78 pence. Which for a small van, every single mile from home to home, I thought was pretty good. It weren't bad. It was almost 80p. The previous weeks, and then diarrhea. Yeah, I mean that's good. I did 74, 76. It's going up. It helps when you get 30 quid for a 3 mile job, but it's going up. I still did some dead miles. I did 20 miles dead here, 20 miles dead there, 25 there. You're going to get that. But with VAT, I mean, it's 984 without VAT. With VAT, it's £1,180 and 80 pence with your 20%. So for 3.5 days a week, I'm getting 1,180 quid. Then you take off 106, which is 9% of that, to give to the VAT man. it makes it 1,074 for 3.5 days. Yeah, it's not too shabby. And it's, say, nearly 80 pence for a small van. And my van, I'm keeping a careful eye on it actually now, over the week. What I do, I've got a lot of computers on my van, and I've had a bit of time. When you're tramping, you get time to digest more. And there's one on there, there's trip A, which I put on every morning from naught, start at naught. And what I do with trip B on the computer, on Monday morning before I leave the house, I put that at naught. And then at the end of the week, trip B tells me how many miles I've done in a week, and it tells me how much fuel I'm averaging per gallon. So it's good information. And my average fuel for the whole week was 57.8 miles per gallon, which for a little van is really good. And I carried pallets. I carried 3 or 4 pallets. I didn't have anything mega heavy, but I still have 3 or 4 pallets. But that's my week. Chatted with a few drivers, a few YouTubers as well. I chatted with Neil, who's had a really good week. Chatted with what's his name, Phil, who asked me some info on Exeter because he was going down to Exeter if I knew anything best to do. Yeah, it's been a good week. So hope you're making money. I'm off to the rugby now. That's why this is going to be cut short. I've got a job booked out already for Monday, and I've got to make a decision whether I go tomorrow night because it's down in Plymouth. I've already got the load on. I can just about tramp in the back of the van with it. It's 3 cases. Do I go down Sunday because I've got to get it to near Plymouth, well, the other side of Plymouth? Do I get it there? It's got to be there for 9 o'clock. If I travel in the morning first thing, I'm going to be leaving my house at about 3:30 in the morning, probably 3 o'clock. Get up at 3, leave about 3:20. I'm thinking of travelling down on Sunday and getting pretty close to where I've got to get to Sunday night, leave about 6, and then park up and kip, deliver it, and then I'll be fresher if I can get anything home. Or do I just stay in Plymouth? Just go down on the morning and stay down there. The money I've got in it means that that's my Monday job, and I'll be done it by 9. If I don't get nothing the rest of the day, it doesn't matter because I've got the money in it. And then I get a job Tuesday. So I've got all of Monday to find a job, or Tuesday. I know Plymouth's a poor area, bit of a risk, but I've got good money to get down there. So I may go down tomorrow evening and then kip, then deliver it in the morning, and then be fresh, or I may just go down at 3:30 in the morning and just travel down there. We'll see. Right, got to go to the rugby, got to get ready. Time to see the Saints kick the Tigers' ass. Let's hope so. Hope you're all doing well. Take care.